With the Butt Kicker Gamer 2, what you see and what you hear is what you feel. Butt Kicker. The future is feeling.
Hey there, I'm Nicholas Dubois, co-founder of Advanced Sim Racing. We are a Canadian company. So what we did here today is for a real petrol head. He's really passionate about cars, as you can see behind me. We did a turnkey solution for him based on his needs. We try to gather as much information as we can on our client. And like we did today, we install a D-Box system. We install ultra-wide cube control steering wheel. We try to provide the best quality for your budget. So let's say if you want a budget of 10 grand, we're gonna give you something that's the best for 10 grand. If you want 20 grand, then we always try to stay within your boundaries. We do try to make it as easy as possible. So the client, once we install everything, it's pretty much gonna be a turnkey. So he's gonna press start on his computer, and right after, we'll try to explain everything, how it goes, how it works, and then he's ready to go. Our aluminum is from USA, treated in Canada, cut in Canada. So we do sand all our aluminum piece just to make sure the powder coat sticks to it. And that's one of the reasons why we use powder coat, is to make sure you have the best aluminum finish in the industry. And our quality is beyond what you can get with any other competitors right now. We are really, really passionate about all the gear, all the cockpits, all the sim hardware, and that's why we want to create something that's really gonna reflect our passion into our product. Come visit us at advancedsimracing.com. You can always reach us if you have any questions. You can call us, you can text us, you can go on Facebook, like our page, ask us questions over there, and we'll make sure to answer every questions there is. We are very passionate about what we do, and we try to make it as easier for you to go into the sim racing world, because there's a lot of gear, there's a lot of options, but let us guide you through your process, and let's hope you'll be an Advanced Sim Racing customer.
It's been a long and winding road to the championship finale here in the Precision Racing League NASCAR Truck Series. From Nashville to Chicagoland to Mid-Ohio to New Hampshire to Pocono to IRP to Michigan to Richmond, and now to Daytona for the season finale. Abner Acosta, Bradley Holly, Sean Powell, Adam Zemke, and Richard Regan Jr. have all picked up wins this season, but only 2 drivers remain in championship contention. Acosta and Holly better be ready for a season-ending climactic battle, because this is round 10, the season finale of the PRL NASCAR Truck Series, live from the virtual Daytona International Speedway, under the lights, of course. Hi, everybody. Joey Tebben here alongside Terry Radford in the booth, as we have been for the previous 9 weeks, and Connery Maddock is still behind the scenes, under the lights, in the darkness of the GMT. I think that's the time zone over there. But Terry, Daytona, we got a longer pre-race than usual here, I think. It's Daytona. It's hard to predict anything that's about to happen, but do your best. Think of something.
All right. Well, I got a prop today. I got this little book. All the notes from this season, every bit of them, from start to finish, of things that you've said, I've said, races. Well, guess what? Season finale, throw them son of a guns out the window, because who cares about just taking notes? Who cares about your points? Who cares about what you do? Who cares about where you finish? The only thing that matters is a win here tonight. If you think about it, Abner Acosta, all he had to do is finish the darn thing. He finishes the thing, or finish above 11th, or with no incident points, or finish this, finish that. He's got to beat one dude. One dude. Bradley Holly. He doesn't care about 31 other drivers out here. He cares about himself and Bradley Holly. His best bet is Bradley gets wrecked within the first 15, 20-ish laps. And then Abner's just like, well, whatever. I can do whatever I want now, and I can just go out there and be aggressive. But practice sheets, there's people up here we haven't seen all season in the top 10, top 15. Who cares? You got that one fast lap, and then you got to hope not to get wrecked.
That is always the hope at Daytona. I also noticed, I thought that was going to be your prop down there in the right corner. You got a jar of peanut butter just in frame.
Peanut butter. Yeah.
I don't know how we can connect that. It's you're going to be stuck in the middle of the sandwich. I don't know, something to that extent.
It gets boring. I got cheese that's down here. I stay up to about 2 in the morning. I got cheese that's down here at the thing. I got peanut butter over here. I'm hungry. I mean, I used to have a Camelback on the back of my racing seat over here. And so I would just like strap it around and just sit there and drink water. Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
That's a good idea. I should do that. But let's take a look at the tracks we've gone to so far. I read them very fast in the intro, but if you have chosen to join us here for the Precision Racing League NASCAR Truck Series for the final week here for the championship finale, these are just a few of the places. Well, they're actually all the places that we've gone over the past 9 weeks, over the past 10 weeks, technically, if you're counting that way. We kicked it off at Nashville. Sean Powell surprised us all and won his first race in the PRL. Then Chicagoland was crazy. Mid-Ohio, the only road course this season, but it's been a very diverse selection of tracks, and we end it at another diverse track. It's the first super speedway race of the season, and it's the most unpredictable track of the season.
Yeah, I mean, this is I kind of thought that Lucas Oil, when you look at the most unpredictable tracks, but that really wasn't unpredictable. We saw a stink show from the winner, led every lap. You know, we had a green flag stint in there, and it was pretty predictable that we were going to have single file racing. But man, this is going to be absolutely insane because we're going to see, like I said, we're going to see drivers that nobody expected to win. It's going to be out here that are long shots that could still pull out a surprise win here.
And all of you at home, this is what you came for, the championship position math. So there's 5 drivers that in a theoretical universe could have been in contention, but Sean Powell, unfortunately, was eliminated because he is just on the precipice. If enough drivers showed up, he could have tied Abner Acosta if he won tonight, and Acosta scored 0 points by not showing up. But unfortunately for him, Acosta has shown up, and also he would have lost on countback anyway, so that's irrelevant. Danny Cervantes needed 38 or more drivers to show up tonight. That has not happened. I believe we have 33 in the session right now. And Thomas Sink needed 34 or more drivers to show up tonight to be in contention. That is also not the case. Like I said, 33. So it's down to Acosta and Holly. 15 points separate them. That gets more complicated than you think. It's going to be easier once the race starts. With all the bonus points in the PRL, you get 3 points. If you don't get involved in any sort of incident, you don't cause a caution, there's 3 bonus points available. There's also 5 total bonus points for things we'll get into later. But for now, let's take a look at the team standings. This is a little bit more straightforward, less math involved here. Back row racing, the Whataback squad, that is likely, the team's championship is likely all solved for them. What back row racing will likely finish ahead of Overdrive Racing. So Thomas Sink, Colton Lane, and Danny Cervantes, they're the Whataback drivers who are actually going to be on top, as opposed to the team with Bradley Holly, Jeff Evans, and Mark Kalin, which is kind of a little bit of a surprise, but I guess one of them was more consistent than the other. Phase 2 Chassis Works, they've actually picked up 4 wins this season with Powell and Regan, but just have not had the consistency, unfortunately, of the Whataback guys. The Loud Pedal squad with the Hunters and Jim Westerfield, rather. That's P4 right now. And Car Ramrod, they're actually missing Charles Sumner tonight, is 5th, and then the rest is basically everything I've already mentioned in previous weeks. Pause the stream, look back there if you want to see the rest of the top 5, but it has not changed in the last 9 weeks. Here's our Zoomers. I don't think any of them are Zoomers. I think I'm the only Zoomer in this broadcast right now, but Austin Hunter is gone. Mark Kalin has a cat, and Bradley Holly is staring into space and hopefully not picking his nose.
It's a win for cats everywhere because there's a kitty in the back. This is literally cats around the world are meowing at this chance. I'm sure our viewership has increased with the amount of cats that might watch RaceSpot. You don't know. I'm a big cat guy myself, but Mark Kalin out there with the little kitty floating around. I think my cat's somewhere out yonder. He made a RaceSpot appearance too. It was a massive day for cats everywhere.
We actually met Mark Kalin's cat earlier this week when he was in the MX5 race. He had a Zoom on, and he told us his cat's name. It's a racing name. I'm going to let you guess it. It's a racing first name, but that's as specific as I'm going to get.
Dale.
No, that's too obvious. Think a different discipline.
Fernando?
Closer.
Is it Lewis?
No, it's Max.
Oh, it makes sense, yeah.
I don't think it's named after any racing Max, but I don't know.
I mean, Max Verstappen, if you're not naming your cat after him. I mean, I named my cat Atticus after, like, the old BC times where the Romans and stuff would fight each other. And that's what I'm into, a little medievalish type style. But hey, we did jump up, by the way. We jumped up about 10 people when the cat showed up. So hello, cats alike around the world.
I would name a cat Max, but not after Max Verstappen, after Max Chilton. That's who you got to name your cat after. But 43. I'm
gonna name my next cat Connery after the best producer. Which, by the way, I promised that I would actually say this on there, and we got 30 seconds here to kill, is that he said that his favorite people and his picks to win this race were the people on Zoom. So he gets 3 picks, we get 1. So it's not fair. It's 3-1. He has good odds here.
And these are all Whataback drivers. The Whataback drivers, I'm not showing any favoritism here, but they are all showing up. Austin Hunter's getting his hydration in. His desk is almost as shaky as mine, apparently. But Kalen and Holly on overdrive. That's their Whataback team. They're with us. But anyway, qualifying has finally ticked down. We didn't watch any of it. I don't think you really missed anything. It's Daytona qualifying. It's fairly straightforward. Run the top, build up all the speed in the world, and then set the grid, Terry. It's pretty straightforward.
I mean, no surprise, though. I mean, you look at who's sitting, P1 on the grid. The guy who said he was going to lead, as much as possible. He starts P1. It's just hold it wide open and hope you don't hit the yellow line.
Well, this is the worst possible thing for Bradley Holly. Abner Acosta has found himself on pole and en route to trying to defend his position at the top of the championship, putting it on pole. Will give Abner Acosta 2 critical bonus points here. But alongside him, it's the driver who my random number generator chose last week. It's Mike Witt on the front row. And then it's double the Evans, Jeff Evans and Doug Evans, son and father, 3rd and 4th. We'll talk a little bit more about Doug Evans in a few moments here once we're on the grid. Danny Cervantes is 5th, and Steve Loving, great qualifying run for him, in 6th. CM Pennington, P7. Talk about Daytona qualifying. It shuffles up the order just a little bit. Doyle Lawrence up in 8th. Dylan Schmidt, I believe that's his highest spot of the season, in 9th. And Mike Richter rounds out the top 10. Eric Papineau is 11th. And Colton Lane is P12. Down in unlucky 13th, it's Adam Zemke. And there's another winner from this season, Richard Regan Jr. alongside him. Mark Kalin finally won earlier this week with the power of Max the Cat in the MX-5s. He's 15th in a new livery, or a new paint scheme, I should say. And Dalton Geyer couldn't get higher than 16th. James Dewar is 17th, and Ryan Traver, or RTR, will be 18th tonight. And we keep going down. Stacy Hunter, unrelated to Austin and Nicholas, is P19. Jeff Hollingsworth is 20th. Kevin McGarvey's 21st, and Terry Tamamasi, your pick, is 22nd. Robert Happy Gilmore was the last driver set of time. He's 23rd. Sean Powell elected not to qualify. And there's a lot of these drivers who elected not to qualify. It's Daytona. Sometimes this is the move. Bradley Holly's also in a new paint scheme tonight. He's 25th. Christian Swenson, 26th. Westerfield, Sink, Panzarella, and Nicholas Hunter in the Purified Racing liquid truck one more time, but the list goes on. Austin Hunter also did not qualify. Garrett Austin also did not qualify. And Jose, the Funky Cold Medina, will round out the 33 truck field for tonight. 33 trucks. It's not the Indy 500. It is Daytona. And we ride off the grid now. Mike Witt starting on the front row. But it's a long pace lap here, so while we've got time, I'd like to take a peek at Doug Evans's livery for tonight. And actually, before we do that, I'm going to read our sponsors really quick. Sorry, Doug Evans, we'll get to you a little bit later. I know that's going to be a surprise for him, but let's talk about VCO here on the pace lap, always helping us out here at RaceSpotTV and helping make every single Precision Racing League broadcast possible this season. We're also brought to you by Advanced Sim Racing every single week. You see them in the intro every week. Owned and operated by passionate sim racers, Advanced Sim Racing designs and builds the sturdiest and most durable aluminum profile racing cockpits in the market today. All PRL members also get a 5% discount on ASR products using the Precision5 discount code. RaceLab apps. RaceLab helps you to improve your driving skills with modern overlays, race statistics, and native VR integration. You can get the best out of iRacing. Start using it now for free at racelab.app. The Butt Kicker. Butt Kicker products provide an incredible immersion and realism to every game. Feel every nuance and truly put yourself in the driver's seat with the Butt Kicker. And last but not least, Ninja Trader. Ready to compete against the financial markets? Supporting over 60,000 users across the globe, Ninja Trader provides award-winning trading software and brokerage services. Ninja Trader is always free to use for advanced charting, backtesting, and trade simulation. Visit ninjatrader.com to get started with a risk-free trading simulator and start tracking your performance. Normally I do that ahead of qualifying, but we've had an interesting pre-race here, Terry, so get that out of the way, get the iRacing sedan pace car out of the way, and we are ready for the championship finale at Daytona. Abner Acosta leads the championship. He leads the race. Green flag is out at Daytona.
Oh man, I'm telling you, I'm sorry I'm breaking the fourth wall here with actually talking on this lap, but oh my gosh, the roar at Daytona is unlike any other, especially that shot down there on the track and just listen to these things roar. It's so awesome.
Looks fairly straightforward here on lap 1. I think that might be Steve Loving in the background falling to the back. No, it is not, but somebody hopped out of line and is electing to go to the back of this train here. But as we round turn 4 for the first time, everybody is backed up here. Lap 1 at Daytona, not usually the place where we see any sort of chaos whatsoever, and we are going to survive lap 1 entirely, but Mike Witt is going to lead lap 1, and he might be able to clear Abner Acosta. He does. It's going to be a double clear of Abner Acosta. Doyle Lawrence and Mike Witt both get down to the bottom, and Mike Witt leads at Daytona.
I'm not gonna lie to you, this whole, rivalry thing between me and you all season long with making a pick or making a prediction, I'm like 0 for everything. I haven't had a prediction in the top 10 like that has even finished this darn thing. You go out there and do a random number generator and say that Mike Witt wins this race. He leads lap 1. I don't even think my picks have led a lap.
Well, it is only lap 2, so I'm not going to get ahead of myself here, but that is a critical point. You need, if you're in the championship battle, you need every bonus point you can get. Mike Witt, Mike Richter, Colton Lane, all these guys up front are not in that battle, but Abner Acosta is, and even though he started on pole, he's falling through the field. He's not going to get a point for leading a lap right now. We might need to hope that comes a little bit later, but we ride on board here with Doug Evans, looking at the bed of that truck. And Terry, there's a certain hat on Doug Evans's truck tonight. I wonder what that's all about.
Yeah, I think he's turning like 21, 22 years old. No, man, Doug Evans having a birthday. We would sing happy birthday here at RaceSpot, but according to the Google machine, that song is actually trademarked. So
not anymore. I think it got put in the public domain, but I don't know if it's in the public domain in the old Britain. I think that might just be in America.
That's what I'm saying. You never know. You don't want to break any copyright laws or anything. But happy birthday, Doug Evans. You're maybe like 23, 24. Who knows? You might be old enough to drink a cold beverage here. But hey, why not go out there and get you a win on your birthday? Have everybody move aside and just let old Doug Evans get up there and win him one in that 41 machine.
Yeah, Jeff Evans told me a little secret. He said he kind of finagled his dad into giving him his RaceSpot account password to upload his paints, and he snuck a little birthday surprise in there, and I think that's the most moral way of hacking into somebody's account, to give him a birthday surprise. So happy birthday, Doug Evans. We hope it's a good one, and maybe it'll end in a win. Maybe you'll get a birthday victory. That wouldn't be the first time that's happened at Daytona. But it's not Abner Acosta's birthday, but it might as well be, because he's getting the push of the century from Richard Regan Jr. Two rivals, two completely different teams, but Abner Acosta's back to the front, and he's going to get that one bonus point. So if stuff goes awry, he's got one more point over Bradley Holly now. He's got 3 more points over Bradley Holly, actually, when you take pole into consideration. The championship gap now between Acosta and Holly has already grown from 15 to 18 points, and we're only 5 laps into this race.
Yeah, way to sneak the Trevor Bayne reference in there. Good little call there on the end of that one. So pretty awesome. Pretty awesome to see. But I mean, look at this. I mean, look at our, well, you can't see it, but look at the people that started a little further back here. Richard Regan Jr.'s up 10. Tom Amasi, my pick, he's up to 9th. So, hey, I can say I've had a person in the set top 10 now. Thanks, Tom Amasi in the 05, riding that outside lane behind Colton Lane. Get up there, Sean Powell. 3 wide, take it 3 wide. Let's go.
Looks like a little bit of a second pack is forming here. We always hope that it's kind of a single pack. Doug Evans is falling just a little bit from the back of, I believe that's Eric Papineau, the last car in this lead pack here. I think he might be able to close that down. There's only about half a second between Papineau and Evans, so if he does close that down, that means that the entirety of this 33-car field will still be all packed together here at the front of the field and at the back of the field here at Daytona, which I think is what we want. It might not be what we want when the big one finally strikes in 40 laps time, but for now, I'd like to be as close as possible here.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. This isn't a track that you want to be right up, tucked up behind somebody if you're in a different pack. If you have that separate strategy, I mean, you see the little bit of a distance that are back there, but you want to be right here. You want to be where the 5 is. You want to be leading this. Now, while you're not safe there on the last lap, you're safe there right now for the time being. You know, it's lap 7. Mike Witt's not pushing him hard. Doyle Lawrence isn't pushing Mike Witt hard. They're quarter throttling from second on back in this bottom lane. But that outside lane's flying. You see Richard Riga Jr. in the Phase 2's Chassis Works Toyota. He's going to ride up there on the outside. He's wide open, no lift, no whatever. But look at the little space in between the bumpers. They'll finally touch just a tad bit. He's getting a little bit of a bubble shot. Nothing too wild. But if it's anything like C open or C fix this week, man, they're wrecking for whatever position they get their hands on. They'll wreck for second on lap 1. They don't care.
Usually when I end up running C-Fix races at Daytona, I tend to go with the strategy of just hanging out at the back until the caution finally comes out. But whenever I do that, the caution never comes out. And whenever I'm running up front, the caution does come out, and I'm involved in it. So it's always impossible to make the choice. But it looks like about half the field, especially those drivers that started at the back that didn't qualify, they're happy to run at the back right now, and I think they can probably guarantee that we'll get at least one caution in the next 47 laps.
Well, Bradley Holly's sitting back there in the 26th position, not really doing anything big. Wow, me and Connor's on the same wavelength tonight. We've touched the same trucks at the same time when I was thinking about it. And the 184's not doing anything massive. He is not. Honestly, think about this. What does he have to lose? He's been second in the championship virtually all season. He has not been. He's not been the most consistent. He has not been the driver who has been dominant. So he's coming in tonight. You got house money, son. You got house money. You're playing with Monopoly cash at the moment. There's nothing that is going to hurt you. You could wreck or win. It doesn't matter. All you care about is where the 5's at. Oh, he's leading. He added a couple bonus points on me. Who cares? Now you just got to hope that, well, Abner Acosta can get swept up in any single wreck out here. It doesn't matter. And he's just sitting back here playing the opposite ends of the strategy. One wants to lead every lap, beat Dale Jr. The other wants to sit in the back and play the Denny Hamlin approach.
I think Abner might actually be in a little bit of danger here because no slight to some of the drivers in the top 10, but he's around drivers he hasn't been racing all season, except when he's been kind of driving through traffic. Mike Witt, Mike Richter, Tom Amasi, and a few others are up front here, legitimately fighting for this win, but they haven't raced with Abner. Abner hasn't raced with them, at least for a while, so does he really know what to expect right now is my question. Does he know how to work with Mike Witt? Have they ever interacted on track? Have they ever worked together?
I mean, I don't want to come across as a narcissistic butt when I say this, but really the only time that Abner's seen a lot of the drivers that are sitting right here in this top 10 was potentially putting them a lap down. So no, he probably has not ran with them quite a bit. He's been on track with them in practice. He's raced around them that way, but Daytona's not that hard. Once again, fans that are watching, please don't take this as a narcissistic thing to say. If you're the third driver in line, you're the fourth driver in line, you're not going wide open. You're quarter throttling all the way around. The draft will suck you around this track. And if that was a hard concept, if you keep it painted on that yellow line and don't touch it, there's no wrecks to happen. If you don't put your nose in a place that doesn't exist, you're not going to cause a wreck. I'm just surprised more than anything that they're really being calm. I kind of thought that this would be a storm on lap 1 where everybody wanted to get the spot. But Abner's just looking for a win. But so is everybody else behind him. They haven't touched victory lane. Abner's won like 50% of the races. He's getting turned in this race.
Technically, he's won 33.333333 repeating percent of the races, but that's still a pretty darn big number. And if he does win number 4 here, that's going to be a big season for Abner, and it's been a big season for Abner so far. Even if he somehow doesn't win this championship, I would say he's been the best driver all season, and if he comes out on top, he will be deserving. Bradley Holly will be too. He's stuck with him all season, but Abner has just been almost unbeatable on just about every single type of track this season, so I guess it's not a surprise that even at a track that objectively doesn't require a lot of raw racing skill, that's why you and I can run up front here, Terry. Abner's still up front, though.
Well, I mean, I'm going to quote the great Scott Steiner, because you know, they say that all men are created equal, but if you look at Abner Acosta and you see the statement's not true, normally when you go one-on-one with a wrestler, you got 50% chance of winning. I'm sorry, but Abner Acosta's a genetic freak. So you got a 25% at beating him, and then you add another driver to the mix, so then you got a 33 and a third chance of winning. And hopefully somewhere Hugo is watching and he is smiling from ear to ear because that's our favorite promo. But Abner Acosta's been a genetic freak. He's been an absolute animal all season long. 33.333% chance that he was going to win. And while we think that there's a 3% chance that any of these drivers can win here, and that goes for everybody in this. I think that's the math that equals out to whatever. But there's not a big percentage that all of these drivers can win. So right now, Abner's kicking butt at Daytona.
Mike Richter almost took the lead there. He pushed forward just a little bit. He had some help from Colton Lane up on the high line, but Mike Witt is doing a fantastic job on the bottom of pushing Abner Acosta here. They've been working together phenomenally. I question whether they would be able to work together being in such different places over the courses of their seasons, but they have done a fantastic job. But who's doing a more fantastic job? Colton Lane is pushing and pushing and pushing, and Mike Richter is in the lead. He could have cleared himself if he wanted to, but no, I think he elects to stick with Colton Lane there up top. He has a buddy. He's happy to work with him, but I think in about 40 laps time, the buddy's going to go away. But for now, he's happy to hang with Colton.
Yeah, you always have it. You find a friend early in the race. You sit with that friend. It doesn't matter what lane you're in. You stick with your person. I found a person in Seat Fixed yesterday, all because he had a rowdy energy paint scheme. He had a rowdy energy scheme, and I said, "You're the guy I'm going to stick with." Pushed him all the way to the last lap. When that last lap hit, we wasn't friends no more, but I respected him. I still gave him the respect in the moves on the track. I ended up wrecking, finishing 11th. He ended up winning the race. But it was a big thing there. But you see the 60 stand right on the back bumper of that 15 there. And while they are driving different manufacturers, you see how good they're lining up, you know, truck bumper wise to front nose. That's going to play a big dividends because trouble
in the background. They saved it. I think Dylan Schmidt got into a little bit of trouble. Dalton Geyer, Mark Kalin down in the apron. But that was the first real bobble we've seen. It's been completely clean running. It's been perfectly fine here. Double file, single file for the first 16 laps, but we finally had a little bit of trouble. CM Pennington in the 44 on the top, Christian Swenson, Mark Kalin, Ryan Traver. Let's see what happened here as we come off of 4. Just a little bit of a checkup up front with Dylan Schmidt and Jeff Hollingsworth. Actually, he does get turned. Jeff Hollingsworth did get turned. We missed him in the background there across the nose of Mark Kalin. It doesn't look like he made contact, though. So Jeff Hollingsworth's still alive. That could have been way worse than it was, but he didn't make contact with the inside wall.
Let's see if he did. He locked it up, spun it around, hit the gas. Wow, what a save. There you go,
He just
Hollingsworth.
accidentally took the Daytona road course chicane.
Yeah, I mean, hey, it works sometimes. But yeah, I wouldn't have cried if that Kentucky truck would have got all torn up. But I'm just kidding, Mark Kalin. You know I love you. But I still wouldn't have cried. It'd be just like their football season coming up. There'll be a total disaster.
Lap 17 of 55 right now. I guess we might as well start thinking about pit strategy, start thinking about fuel strategy. We've got nothing else to talk about right now as the race develops up front. Do you split this race in half? We know all the usual cliches of super speedway racing. Pit with your teammates, pit with your manufacturers, have a buddy, don't lose the draft, all that stuff. But when's it all going to go down?
I'm not pitting until that sucker's dang near empty. I don't care. I'm not taking tires. I'm going to pit literally when it says, hey, you got 1 lap of fuel to go. That's as far as I ever get here. And I don't care who comes with me. I'm going with after the first wave, you should see a wave of probably about 10 trucks that are going to come down. I'm pitting on that second wave. I'm pitting when pit road is just a little bit less congested. And I want people that I know, that I trust, that I feel confident in. If I'm the 5, I feel confident right now with the 26. I feel confident with Doyle Lawrence, Richard Reagan Jr. I want those 4 drivers to come down pit road together because they have stayed in perfect unison down here on the bottom. They haven't allowed the 15 up there, Mike Richter or Colton Lane or Tom Amasi. They haven't let those drivers get up there and really overtake this lead. So I'm pitting with the drivers behind me if the 26 can stay off of that quad oval's bank there.
Talk a little bit about some of the hunger of the drivers in the top 10. Mike Richter never won in the PRL. Mike Witt never won in the PRL. Tom Amasi never won in the PRL. James Dewar has never won in the PRL. So a lot of drivers up front here going for a big first win in the Precision Racing League, and they're intersected with Abner Acosta, who of course has more wins than anybody not named Bradley Holly. Colton Lane has wins. Doyle Lawrence has a win. Richard Regan Jr. is third behind Abner Acosta all time. Sean Powell won 2 races this season, and Jeff Evans has a win as well. But a first-time win is always so tantalizing, especially at Daytona, because all these guys who have never won before, if they haven't been able to win it, if they don't think they're good at a short track, they don't think they're good at an intermediate, a road course, whatever, but this is the place where everybody has a shot.
Yeah, I mean, I did some math, and I think I was still wrong. It was 0.33% chance of one of these 33 drivers to go to victory lane. That's good odds. I mean, I wouldn't necessarily go to Vegas and take those odds, but why not take the odds? I mean, talk about and granted, you talked about the top 10. This top 10 probably won't even last for 15 laps or so, maybe even 10. You know, we've seen a lot of comers and goers. Tom Amasi's up 16, Powell's up 16. Like, people have dropped to the back. Kristen Swenson's jumped up 13 positions. This is going to, juke and drive a ton. You still have a whole line of trucks that are sitting down there on the bottom line that won't even get to the back bumper of the truck in front of them. They want to be as far back away from the potential chaos that could ensue. If anything on that outside lane happens, that bottom lane is just a demolition derby for the outside to just come down there, and it could get wrecked easily.
Big run on the high side for Mike Richter. Colton Lane's coming with him. Can they both clear Abner Acosta? No, actually, neither of them can really. Mike Richter almost does. That was a great run, but it kind of fell apart in the latter stage of it. But now they've got Tom Amasi up there with them. Sean Powell is 4th in line, and James Dewar is also in that line up top. It seems like, at least coming to the line, the top is a little bit stronger. Mike Richter's not going to lead this lap. He thinks about a little bit of a side draft there on Abner Acosta, maybe a rehearsal for the final lap. But at least down the back straight, that top line's really working for Richter and Lane. But Acosta is just, over the course of the entire lap, him and Mike Witt appear to be the better duo down there on the bottom.
I mean, you see the 60, he's dang near locked onto the back bumper of that 15 from center off. So when they get down the back straightaway, you don't see the 26 really pushing a ton down there on the 5. But Colton Lane, he's smacking the back of Mike Richter. He's just pushing him as hard as he can into 3. But that time, look, Abner Acosta got a bigger run because, look, Mike Witt's a whole lot closer. And now he's just going to try to just barely touch him here coming through the center. But you have to be locked coming off the exit like the 26 and the 5 are. That's going to allow him to keep this lead. And now it's kind of growing where maybe the 26 could clear himself here momentarily.
Thought about it, but Colton Lane and Mike Richter, they're working together. Again, Mike Witt is almost clear of Richter. He is clear of Richter right now. If he wants to, he can pull up top here, but I see no reason why he would do that. He's having a great time with Abner Acosta on the bottom, and he does stick with his buddy. He's not going to lead the top. Maybe look for that in 30 laps time, but it's status quo here up front. The two Mikes, Mike Richter and Mike Witt, both in different places in the push, but they've been the same top 4. Abner Acosta, Mike Witt, Mike Richter, and Colton Lane for the entirety of this first stint. But now, off of 4, that was not a very good turn 3 and 4 for the Lane and Richter duo. Witt's clear. Doyle Lawrence almost got clear at the top, but they're falling apart just a little bit on the top right now, and they're about to reach a lap truck. Jeff Hollingsworth up front. We saw him lose the draft after that big spin. He's in danger of getting lapped right now.
Yeah, it happens, but he'll tuck around. We will get a caution for Jeff Hollingsworth. He just has to bide his time. But to be honest with you talked about in 30 laps. That's lap 54. I don't care who you are. No offense to my mom watching the chat. I'm wrecking her for a win at Daytona. Even in iRacing, it's very prestigious. It is very prestigious to win here. You know, you think about the NIS Daytona 500 covered here on RaceSpot. When you win that race, the level of emotion that comes behind it, the instant gratification, and the love that you get from the community to say that you are an NIS winner on a major oh, that was almost big. But
Christian Swenson trying to get up top there, almost clipped himself on Jeff Hollingsworth, but they got through it. Let's take a look at what happened there. Swenson just a little bit desperate, I think, to get up on top. Wasn't completely clear of Jeff Hollingsworth, or at least he was just clear by inches. Look at this, Schmidt goes by. Oh, did Hollingsworth come down a little bit there?
Yeah, absolutely did. That was small contact, but that could have been massive. Now, while the people are there on the bottom, single file, that's still big, but hey, look who's up there, right on the outside. Let's go, 05.
Yeah, the top line kind of fell apart as they were trying to lap Hollingsworth, and now Tom Amasi leads the high side with Sean Powell. Sean Powell's a very good truck to have working with you over the course of this season. He's been so strong. He won at Richmond. He won the season opener at Nashville. Actually, he didn't win Richmond. Forgive me. Richard Regan Jr. won at Richmond. But either way, he's a good driver to work with. 45 in the 05 up on top, and they've got Swenson, and they've got Dylan Schmidt. Dylan Schmidt can't really decide where to go. He's going to push Sean Powell into Tom Amasi. They're going to get a little bit squiggly, but Tom Amasi is the leader at Daytona.
That's what I'm talking about, Tom. I picked you. Let's get it. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. No, Abner, you're supposed to stay. Oh, no, come on, 45. You got to stay tucked up on him here. You can't blink it out. There's the pit
stops. Here we go. Lap 26, split the race basically in half. Colton Lane, Mike Richter in the grass. I hope he got that slowed down. Both Evanses, basically all the Whatabacks, they're all in. Green flag pit stops underway at Daytona.
You could almost feel it with the way that everybody was getting down to the bottom. Everybody was figuring themselves out. Now you just have to see who's coming next, because you have to stay consistent-ish with those drivers that just came down, because you got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 drivers. You have 10 drivers who are sitting there on pit road right now, and if they can stay lined up, in which you see that there's a little bit of disorganization in between those drivers, that could spell trouble for them, because if a group of 4, 5, or 6 come down and they're able to hit pit lane and nail these pit stops, that's a cone.
Hits the cone.
It's cone abuse, you.
Dalton Geyer knocks the cone out of the way. Ryan Traver is in. Adam Zemke, Kevin McGarvey, Robert Gilmore, a whole host of drivers. But still, the top 11 from Acosta to Loving, still waiting to come down pit road. They're still out there. And they're almost going to put some of the drivers who have pitted a lap down, but I imagine we've got to be reaching the end of the fuel stint here. Lap 28, Tom Amasi trying to take the lead here, but it doesn't really matter right now, because we'll see as we go through turn 4. Will Abner Costa take a hard left here down onto pit road, and will everybody else join him? Not yet, not yet, not yet. No, they're going to keep going.
Yeah, I mean, you would imagine... Yeah, you would imagine that a lot of these drivers would not. That they're going to come in when the leader comes in. But you would think that Tom Amasi, Sean Powell, and Schmidt, they're going to come down with them. I would say come down. When you see them on the outside or the inside come down, I'm peeking down with them. I don't care. You just try to lock them up and try to outbrake them as much as possible to get on pit lane without locking it up, so you don't have to take tires there.
Craziness throughout the field. You saw the racing a little bit further back with all the Whatabak guys forming themselves together. But we've gone single file here now. Tom Amasi has ditched the top. I think he's trying to get to the back of the field to actually come down pit road, but he had a lot of cars to fall back behind. Dylan Schmidt's trying to find a spot on the bottom. Garrett Austin and Doug Evans have been put a lap down in the background there. But this is insane. This looks like I-95 in Delaware. People can't figure out what lane to use, and they've got to pit eventually, but here we've got a freight train further back. All the Whatabak drivers have formed together.
Yeah, I'm so glad you talked about I-95. That is such a traffic nightmare. It's like going through Atlanta right here. Even at midnight, it's still atrocious. I don't understand it. But this is Daytona. I mean, surprisingly enough, if you would have told me before this race that we were going to go 30 green flag laps at Daytona, I would have told you you're insane. But if you are a driver in the C-Fixed, PRL can go 30 laps.
There we go. Phase 2 chassis works. They're all in. Regan, Powell, James Dewar loses it. James Dewar hits the pit road wall, and he's going to take Dylan Schmidt with him in the background. James Dewar loses it. Dylan Schmidt completely innocent there. No caution's going to come out because they made it to pit road, but James Dewar is not going to be Dylan Schmidt's favorite driver right now.
Dubby got dubbed. Oh, I'm tired. I needed some W air in my life, but yeah, he's going to get on the brakes. And the brake bias on these things are crazy because you barely have any. You know, wall it is. Schmidt nowhere to go. Cone gets smacked again.
Loving hit the cone. He might get a penalty. And again, no fault of his own, and he did. Loving gets the same penalty that Dalton Geyer got. He's going to go 2 laps down. Travers gone 2 laps down. Pennington's gone 2 laps down. There have been a whole host of pit road penalties, and now the leaders finally come in. Acosta, Witt, and Lawrence. It's all kicking off, but finally, everybody but Eric Papineau and Tom Amasi have brought down pit road. Only 2 more that we're waiting for, and now we're finally going to see how everything's going to cycle out. Is Jeff Evans going to be the overall leader here? These Whataback drivers, Evans, Cervantes, Sink, and Holly have been doing such a good job of working together. But this is actually the overall lead further ahead. The Phase 2 Chassis Works drivers of Swenson and Regan and Powell a little bit further back. They are the leaders of the pack, but now we wait to see how they're going to merge here. Mike Witt beats Abner Acosta off pit road. Doyle Lawrence is behind. But look at this. They're way behind. They're absolute miles behind. Oh, wait, no, they're not. That was the wrong truck. I got confused. They're not miles behind. They're about to get past here. Full speed, full head of steam for the Phase 2 Chassis Works drivers. Mike Witt almost clips the grass. And now the Phase 2 Chassis Works drivers jump Witt and Acosta by a mile. Not confusing at all.
We almost had a Kevin LePage moment. For people who don't know what that moment is, go YouTube that because it was pretty hilarious. I don't like that move from Abner Acosta, and I don't like the move from the 26 of Mike Witt. I didn't think that move was smart. I don't like the move from the 05 or the 37 of Papineau. I really thought that they should have all come in together right there. That should have been a cue up on the radio. Hey, we need 5 trucks. We need 4 trucks. We need whoever to come down pit road and nail it. If you allowed multiple laps of Swenson, of Regan, of Powell, Evans, Cervantes, all of those drivers to come down pit lane and sit in a pack of 10, 12, 13 cars while you sit up there with 3, 4, 5, you're one of the back of the pack, and now you have to race your way up here and put yourself in even more dangers. Oh, by the way, Bradley Holly's sitting 7th, and all he's doing is sitting in a line with his teammates. You're having to drive through his teammates to get back up to this lead and potentially win the championship.
But look at the run that the Whataback drivers have formed, and they've got Colton Lane and Jim Westerfield joining them in their train now. It is a Whataback armada with 6 trucks. Jose Medina brings it down pit road. I think he must have had a penalty. That's disappointing. Jose was having a great run. But here we go. The chase is on. The Phase 2 Chassis Works drivers have found each other, but Powell has gotten swallowed up by the Whataback drivers, and now they set their sights a second forward. And you can see, if you're watching the ticker on the side of your screen, that gap is falling apart by every single millisecond, and it's only a matter of time until we've got a legitimate race for the lead here, but you got to navigate through some moving chicane. Steve Loving got a penalty. Nicholas Hunter is going a lap down for whatever reason. I think he fell off the back of the pack a little bit earlier, but here comes the charge.
Yeah, the charge is going to come. You got 2 trucks that were up there pushing each other with Reagan Jr. pushing Swenson. He was pushing him with all of his might, and it's just not going to work. You see right here, Loving is going to jump to the outside, trying to get his lap back, praying for a caution to come out here. But he has to get clear of Christian Swenson down there that's on the bottom. But it's back to being, a double file race, and at the tail end of this is Abner Acosta. Of all things, the man has led, I think he's led almost every lap, but a couple little, millisecond leads at the line. He's at the back, and man, that's a lot of Whataback drivers that's sitting there. This could be this could be a pretty good win for Whataback Racing.
Oh, CM Pennington on the top trying to get out of the way. He does get out of the way, but he puts himself in the wall in the process. Forgive me, that's not CM Pennington. That's the other maroon truck further back. I believe that's Zach Panzarella 4 laps down. He's getting out of the way, but again, a scary lap car moment, but we get through lap traffic once again, and we've still gone green here for 35 straight laps, 20 more to go. Mark Kalin and Jose Medina are the latest trucks to go 1 lap down, but this is dicey stuff. This is the scariest time at Daytona.
Normally you would say that this is the most wonderful time of the year, but that's Christmas. Here, this is just absolute pandemonium. because you got to work through, you said moving chicanes. It's a perfect analogy. It's a moving chicane. You don't know where they're going. Are they going high? They're going low? They're going middle. And you have to work your way to wide racing at 180, 90 plus miles an hour around here, inches away from the other driver, wide open, flat footing this thing. And you got to worry about not hitting the guy on the bottom, not hitting the wall, not hitting the guy at the top. And you see him starting to side draft here. This is only going to get more violent with now 19 to go. And there's still people battling for a championship in this mix.
Brief championship update. We've talked about it in vague terms all night, but we do have to start thinking about championship. 19 laps to go. We ride on board with Bradley Holly right now. Pretty obviously right now, he is not in the position to win the championship right now. He's one position ahead of Abner Acosta. He's actually going to lose 2 points to him because of the bonus points Abner's earned over the course of tonight. But Brad, what he has to do, obviously, is make up 12 more spots, get to the lead of this race, and hope that Abner is many, many positions back. The actual calculations of that are too difficult to do on the fly right now. But if Abner finishes 8th or better, I believe, but actually now that he has bonus points, he only has to finish 6th or better, 10th or better, 11th or better, something like that. So basically, finish in the top 10, you win the championship, Abner. That's the only thing he has to think about right now.
I would say just finish the race and hope that it's somewhere within a spot of Bradley Holly, and right now he is. It's 13th and 14th on this board for those two drivers, and that's not what Bradley Holly wants to see. He doesn't want to see the guy leading the championship right behind him. He's kind of hoping that bad luck strikes him, and I know he's not going to say that out loud. I'll be the guy to say it. You know, I would be wishing that the person that I'm racing for the championship would, lap 1 get turned. Oh no, how did you get turned? Type deal. But it's not happening. It hasn't happened. He got the pole. He got bonus points for leading a lap. Pretty sure he's led the most laps, and nobody can really take that from him with Kristen Swenson leading this race. But this is going to come down to who misses the big one, because it's not a matter of, when, it's a matter of if.
And of course, we have one green-white checker in this series that we will be able to take if we do have a big one at the end of this race. We've been doing very well on time. We've gotten through this race in very good time. So we will get a green-white checker if there is a caution for 1 lap to go, and we will have plenty of time to do it. So that's another thing to take into consideration here. And it's another thing to take into consideration for some of those drivers that pitted a little bit early. Some of the drivers who came in on lap 26, if we do get a green-white checker at the end, are they going to have enough fuel in the truck to make it?
I mean, they should. If a guy like Jeff Evans, who's out there leading the outside lane, he's got Steve Loving right in front of him. So I would imagine that he's able to save just a little bit more fuel than what he would have out here leading this. So I guess the 27 jumping up here is not a bad thing. And for the fans at home, the 27 is not racing for a position. He's leading the charge on the outside. He still has a very fast truck. He just had an incidental pit road. He caught the cone, goes a lap down. Oh no!
Hunter,
oh, almost wrecked it.
Nicholas Hunter on the apron. Oh my goodness, he faded back up the track. I don't know what was going on there. I think he might have got a little bit of a bad push. But Nicholas Hunter ends up on the apron, fades up back onto the track. But somehow, again, everybody makes it through. But we've had too many of these scary moments. One of these days, they're not going to survive it.
Oh, yeah, this is going to happen. We'll take a look here at this replay. Push. Yikes. Big yikes. Everybody was terrified here as the 109 comes back up on the racetrack. And Nicholas Hunter, he's just out here doing his thing. He's just riding around, having a little fun, watching everybody else come up here and play for the lead.
Christian Swenson in the pit box. I just would like to mention here an interesting fact. He was in the box for 9 seconds. Richard Regan Jr. was in the box for 12 seconds. Sean Powell was in the box for 15 seconds. So take all that into consideration. Has Christian Swenson put enough fuel in this truck? And especially considering he's in the lead right now, he's going to be using the most fuel of anybody. This might not be the best position for Christian Swenson right now.
That's numbers. If I'm Christian Swenson, throw that. Who cares? I mean, I guess to be as frank as possible, I don't care about fuel at this moment. If you're Christian Swenson, who cares? A lot of these drivers, you know, more than likely I look up and down the board at who took what on pit road. You know, there's people with 9 seconds, 7 seconds, 8 seconds, whatever, just taking fuel only, as little of fuel as possible, because this race is going to get turned upside down. I don't imagine us going all 55 laps under the green flag condition. While it would be cool, and while I would say that this is unprecedented to have happened, if it does happen, I would imagine that at some point in time, somebody's going to get their panties in a wad, and they're going to go knock the mess out of the driver in front of them, and they're not going to care who's in front of that other driver. They're just going to go, well, get out of my way. I want to win this race. And I wouldn't be surprised if it's not one of the drivers who's sitting here that doesn't have a win this season. This is going to be a big wreck when it happens.
If I remember correctly, a few seasons ago in the PRL Cup Series, we went to iRacing Super Speedway, and we expected a wreck fest, and we went completely caution-free at iRacing Super Speedway. So I guess if it's possible there, it's possible here. But as the tension rises, I completely agree. I think it gets less and less likely that we go caution-free tonight with every single lap that passes.
I think of it the same way that I would, and for people who has watched the PRL all season long here between me and you, we honestly put ourselves in a realistic situation with these drivers, because we both race. You know, you race, I race a lot, predominantly trucks. I don't go out there and intentionally wreck somebody. I don't go out there and even try to wreck. But the thing is one, I go out there and think, I don't care about fuel, I don't care about tires, I don't care about anybody else. I go out there for me. If another driver gets in my way, that's his problem. That's her problem. It's not my problem. It's your problem. And I'm going to make it your problem. I'm not going to make it mine.
Mike Witt clips Austin Hunter and Adam Zemke. And speak of the devil, the yellow's out. Jim Westerfield gets flung into the Florida airspace. Cape Canaveral, eat your heart out, Jim Westerfield. But you could see that coming, Terry. As you were talking, Mike Witt got held up by those lap trucks on the bottom of the track, and he was desperate to get back up. And he was not clear of Austin Hunter. Let's see. Or did Austin Hunter come down? Mike Witt came up, gets into Hunter. Zemke goes spinning, and poor old Jim Westerfield goes into restricted airspace.
Hey, Houston, this is your captain speaking. We have an unidentified truck flying in front of flight 304. That's all I should have been. But hey, open the floodgates up, son, because now it's under 10 laps to go. Oh man, it's just gonna be like every lap is qualifying laps, and 100 and the top speed around here with these trucks has been about 192. Who cares? Throw it out the window. You're making every bold move possible. If it fits, it ships.
So what do you do here? Do you just stay out? Do you come down pit road, maybe put some fuel in the truck, get it a little bit lower to the ground, put some fresh tires on, start at the back of the pack and avoid the next wreck? Or are you staying out for track position right now?
Something else. No, I'm not fitting. If you're the 11, you're the 56, you got a catbird seat, you got a bird's eye view to a win in the PRL Cup or the PRL Truck Series. I ain't pitting. That pit crew better be halfway back to wherever I got them from. Crew chief can take his headset off, go get him a drink, go eat a bologna sandwich or something. I don't want to hear nothing they got to say. All I care about is that the driver behind me is clear, not clear, and how hard he's going to shove me. Pit road is non-existent to me.
Unless you're Austin Hunter, but of course he has damage, so no surprise to see him driving down. And look at this. Is that legitimate? That is legitimate. Danny Cervantes has elected to bring it down pit road. Mike Witt will as well. He has damage. But Danny Cervantes has decided to pit from 5th place on track, and he's going to go to the back of this train here.
So did Abner Acosta.
No.
Uh-oh. I personally, heck no. Heck no. There is no such way I'm coming down pit road with under 10 to go. Not a snowball's chance in heck if I'm coming down pit lane, because Abner, he's going all the way to the back. I think he's taking tires here. So maybe maybe he did get a penalty here.
I am confused as to what has happened to Abner Acosta. There is damage on the front end of that truck. I don't think Abner got involved in the Hunter, Witt, Zemke, etc. accident, but there's damage on the front end of Abner Acosta's truck. That wasn't a penalty. I think his pit crew was just out there. They put the bologna sandwich away, and they were banging that thing out again.
I'm telling you, ain't no better than a bologna sandwich with mustard, but...
Well, there's a lot of things, but beside the point.
That's, I'm a bologna sandwich kind of guy. It happens. Potted meat's pretty good too, but bologna hands down. A good old bologna sandwich from the block and the roll, out of this world. I'm just curious here because we're looking at these drivers up here. Think about this. Colton Lane wins a race in a PRL truck. We've seen Regan, we've seen Powell, we've seen Evans. Think gets a win. Richter gets a win. There's Tom Amasi still sitting in ninth. Doyle Lawrence is sitting in 10th. There's a lot of drivers in this top 15 that are looking for win number 1 here. And dreams come true at Daytona.
Win number 1 in the PRL is... Some of the drivers have been erased, unfortunately. Mike Witt, of course, one of the damaged trucks. He's unlikely to get his first win, I would say now, but he's still on track, and that truck actually doesn't look too bad, so maybe I shouldn't write him off. But Mike Richter would be going for win number 1. Tom Amasi, of course, Stacy Hunter, and a few others up here in the top 15. We have 8 laps to go. The lights are out on the pace car. We will restart here with 7 laps to go at Daytona. Doing the math in my head, 17.5 miles, so not a lot of time to go. See Dalton Geyer up on the top of your screen. I believe he was the lucky dog. He's going to go to the back of the field here, but if I am not mistaken, no, he's not back on the lead lap. He got one of his laps back, but Dalton Geyer is still 2 laps down. I'll update you on some of the drivers at the back of the field. Last driver on the lead lap is Austin Hunter. Medina, Nicholas Hunter, Barrett Austin, Kalen, and Hollingsworth are 1 lap down. Hollingsworth will be many more laps down because he has been erased from existence after getting flung into space. Dalton Geyer and Traver and Pennington are 2 laps down. Gilmore's 3 laps down. Panzarella is 4 laps down. And Dewar is 13 laps down. So there is your update at the back of the field. If your favorite drivers run into trouble, I can only apologize. But up front, it's Christian Swenson with a questionable amount of fuel in the truck. Richard Regan Jr. is 2nd. Sean Powell is 3rd. Those are all Phase 2 Chassis Works trucks in the top 3. Then it's the first Whataback truck of Jeff Evans. Colton Lane, Whataback. Thomas Sink, Whataback. Bradley Holly, Whataback. Mike Richter, Tom Amasi, and Doyle Lawrence, all on either privateer squads or different teams. It's a very diverse top 10 here, but Christian Swenson has been leading since that pit cycle ended. The iRacing sedan pace car for only the 2nd time tonight pulls down pit road, and for 7 more laps, we're green at Daytona again.
Yeah, what a start. What a start right there for Christian Swenson. That was actually one of the better restarts I've seen across the week. Oh, 34.
Garrett
turned
Austin.
in the back.
Garrett Austin at the back of the pack. Caution is out as instantly as it went away. Mark Kalen also involved. Let's see what happened there. I looked away on my timing for a millisecond, and then Garrett Austin was pointing the wrong way. But Garrett Austin already 1 lap down. He is in even more trouble right now. Let's take a look at what happened. Mark Kalen behind him. Oh, there's just a little bit of a checkup. There wasn't even that much of a checkup. Mark Kalen just kind of cleaned him out there.
Dumped like my ex-wife. I mean, you see here, I think Kalen thought that he was going. You see what a big gap that he had right there compared, and yeah, it kind of was a big checkup because the 34 kind of lifted big time. Austin let off the old loud pedal, and then yeah, Mark Kalen just thought he could clear him, and a word that I'm not going to say on this broadcast could have potentially happened there.
We'll just call it a kerfluffle, like DJ
Yes.
Park. That's our censored way, or we'll say it was full of baloney or something like that.
Yeah, that was a big bubble of air in between 2 trucks.
I'm thinking about bologna now, and I'm not happy about it. I haven't had bologna since I was like 7, and I'm not happy that I'm thinking about it. It's just a big hot dog. Why would I want to eat that again? But now I do.
Listen, fans at home, you can chime into this. It's 67 people out there watching. Look, I eat like a poor man, okay? And I do it quite often. I can go to Aldi right now. If people don't know what Aldi is, it's a grocery store. I can get a can of potted meat or a pack of bologna, a loaf of bread, some chips, a drink, and dessert, mind you, for under $10, and I can eat for legitimately a week. So yeah, you're absolutely right. Why would I not go out there and attempt to eat for under $10 for a week when most people go out there and spend $10 at McDonald's for a night?
I'm back in Pittsburgh here, and I went to a kiosk in Shenley Park. If there's any Pittsburgh viewers, I doubt there are right now, but Asia Tea House, I got orange chicken. Unfortunately, Charles Sumner in the orange truck isn't here tonight, so I can't justify this as a valid anecdote, but either way, well, we got nothing else to talk about under caution, so orange chicken, potted meat sandwich. I hope you're all hungry at home, and I hope you're hungry for a restart. There you go. That's how you make it relevant. We're good broadcasters.
And actually, War Bovin brought up a good point, talking about spam. Good little spam and eggs. And most people are probably saying, oh my gosh, spam's disgusting. It's not. It's this nice little canned food, and I'm sure Connery is just like, oh, what are they talking about? I don't know what spam is.
Yeah, they got spam.
Oh,
the British people, they love meat in a can. They love meat in a can.
Sorry. Oh, you do have a West PA viewer right now, Eric Hag out there. Welcome from PA. Any Georgia people out there watching? I know we got a Bama person watching. Any Tennesseans watching? But spam is where it's at. Good spam and eggs, a little cheddar cheese on top. Oh, it's so good.
I promise this is the last food anecdote, but salami and eggs, you never had it?
Ew.
Give that a shot.
This is why I don't talk to people from PA.
It's not PA. It was popular because in Jewish delis, salami normally when it's made of pork isn't kosher, but when it's beef salami, it's kosher, so you can serve it with the eggs. So Jewish delis popularized it, and as usual, food from a Jewish deli, unbeaten, salami and eggs. Give it a shot.
You know what? I'm going to do it just because you said it and how much respect I have from you and for you. Like the amount of conversations we've had on the broadcast or outside of it, like after the show. Most fans don't know that me and you didn't know each other before we started calling these races. I think we had a grand total of 3-minute conversation before we even took the green flag at Nashville. And at the end, you're like, who's this guy? This dude's weird. But it's been a good season. 10 races down, and hopefully they bring us back for season 2. This is a pretty good duo.
And the season's not over yet. We still have 3 laps to go at the line here. To break the fourth wall a little bit, there was basically nothing that changed over the course of that caution. So what else do we have to talk about other than salami and eggs and bologna and spam and Venango County, Pennsylvania? Shout out to Eric Hogg. I bet nobody else knows what Venango County, Pennsylvania is. But anyway, we are ready to go green here. Phase 2 chassis work still 1, 2, 3. Something very interesting that I didn't notice yet this season. All 3 Phase 2 Chassis Works trucks are different manufacturers. Swenson's in a Ford, Regan's in a Toyota, and Powell is in a Chevrolet Silverado. So clearly no manufacturer preference there in Phase 2 Chassis Works land. But either way, manufacturers be darned. We're getting ready to go green here. Austin Hunter's trying to figure out where he is in line, but the iRacing sedan pace car pulls off again. Kalen joins the field in the back of the frame. But Christian Swenson leads us to green again. Here we go, 3 more laps at Daytona.
Let's hope we keep him green here as there's 3 wide back there in the back. Austin Hunter's trying to still figure out where his place in here is going. We're going to go single file down there on the bottom, go 2 wide, a little bit of a gap back there from the 5th, 6th truck on back. Tom Lavasi is the tail end of that one. With that would be Richard Regan Jr. leading that outside train around here.
It's crunch time right now. Swenson, Regan, Powell, unchanged. Evans actually unchanged as well, but now, where does Richard Regan Jr. go? He doesn't get to work with his other 2 teammates. He's working with a rival from Whataback, and he's actually getting pushed to the front, but he's fallen back just a little bit. Swenson and Powell working together just a little bit better down there in the bottom. 2 laps to go at the line here. If a yellow comes out, we will get a green-white checker. But this is critical here. 2 laps, 5 miles, and there it is. Danny Cervantes gets turned to the background. Austin Hunter goes up the track, and there is the yellow. No, we're still good. We're still good. Everybody's still going in a straight line somehow. Robert Gilmore avoids everything. We are still green at Daytona, but we almost wadded half the field up again.
ask us how we did it. It's a miracle. We were second guessing ourselves too. We thought that was definitely bringing out a yellow, but you got what back? You got Phase 2 Chassis Works working on the outside. You got Phase 2 Chassis Works driver down at the bottom. So top 3 teammates are 1, 2, 3 at the moment. Colt Lane sitting back there now in the 4th place position. He just gets around Jeff Evans, pushes him back to P5, but this is all going to change. We're coming to the white flag here. 1 lap to go in the season finale for the PRL.
White flag and Bradley Holly can win the championship here. 1 lap to go. We will end this race at the checkered flag. No green-white checker. Nothing's going to change. But Abner Acosta cannot finish higher than 14th here because he has lost this pack. Bradley Holly, you can see him 4th in line at the top of your screen. It's unlikely that he'll be able to get to the front, but if stuff goes crazy up front, Bradley Holly can win this championship if he can move his way forward. But we'll talk about the race for the lead here. Swenson, Regan, and Powell, they have been unbroken. But who's going to win this at the line? Can Evans stick something out here? Swenson, Powell, Regan, Swenson swerving around. He's getting the push from Powell. Jeff Evans pops out. Powell almost goes below the yellow line, but the runs have been killed. And to the line, Christian Swenson wins at Daytona. We wreck a bunch of trucks to the line. Bradley Holly only finishes 9th. Abner Acosta is going to finish 17th. And I believe, if my calculations are correct, Abner Acosta is your 2022 Season 3 Precision Racing League NASCAR Truck Series champion.
I'm not big on math. Have no idea. It sounds good. Sounds like that after Acosta won the championship. But that was a bold move by Bradley Holly coming to the line. He went to go make it stick. He went to go pick up a couple more positions to get it. But it didn't matter. Top 3, your teammate drivers come up here. They work together really well until Jeff Evans pulled out. But still, for Phase 2 Chassis Works, 1, 3, 5. Not too bad.
And Christian Swenson finally adds his name to the list of Phase 2 Chassis Works drivers that have won this season. Regan's won 2, Powell's won 2. Swenson had great pace at a few races this season, but the luck wasn't there. And he finally closes the season with a win. The number 11, the only Ford in Phase 2 Chassis Works. Christian Swenson is a winner for the 2nd time in the PRL overall. He has 1 Cup win, and now he has 1 truck win as well. Christian Swenson, what a way to cap off the season. 2 great winners tonight. Swenson gets a win, and Abner Acosta gets a deserved championship win.
Well, I mean, if we're not counting, any other win in the PRL, because it's not trucks, 1st-time truck winner. So we kind of thought that we would see a 1st-time winner. While it is on the truck side, it's not PRL wide, but still, congratulations on your 1st truck win, Kristen. He has been fast. He has been consistent, and you're right. There's a couple times this season that we looked at him and said, that 11 should have won, or that 11 should have finished higher. But, congrats to Abner Acosta, champion this season.
Believe everybody has cycled through, so let's take a look at how everybody cycled in at the line there. A couple drivers, I think, finished upside down, but Christian Swenson, of course, your victor, followed by Jeff Evans, who could only get to 2nd. He had a run to the line, wasn't good enough, unfortunately. Powell was 4th, Sink was 4th, Powell was 3rd, rather, and Richard Regan Jr. fell to 5th. Lane, Richter, Amasi were your top 8, and Bradley Holly needed a few more spots. 9th place, not enough to jump Abner in the championship, and Steve Loving ends the season with a top 10. Mike Witt got that fastest lap point, so good for him. 1 extra point for his challenge, but he was only 15th overall in the running. Doyle Lawrence, Doug Evans, and Stacey Hunter were the last cars in that pack that was left over. Zemke finished 14th. Eric Papineau was 16th. Austin Hunter was 17th with damage. And Abner Acosta also with damage. I'm sure he's disappointed with 18th, but he's going to be pretty happy with the championship either way. Kevin McGarvey, P19, and Jose, the Funky Cold Medina, closes out the season with a top 20. Then cars 1 lap down. Hollingsworth. How on earth did Jeff Hollingsworth finish that race? He was upside down in the air, and he still finished this race. That's pretty incredible. Nicholas Hunter, Garrett Austin, and Mark Kalin were all 1 lap down. Cervantes, Trevor Pennington were all 2 laps down. Geyer and Gilmore were 3 laps down. Panzarella was 4 laps down. And then the used car lot further back. Westerfield, Dewar, and Dylan Schmidt, unfortunately, all got into assorted amounts of trouble, and they all finished double digits of laps down. But we've got basically every single driver we need to talk to here. I'd say first, we're going to talk to our championship winner, Abner Acosta, as we wait for Christian Swenson. Abner, I'm sure this is the happiest 18th place of your whole career. You won the championship with it.
Yeah, thank you. I was kind of worried there because I stayed in the back in the second half, and I was like, okay, I'll stay here, it's fine. And then I got caught up in that wreck at the end. So if I was worried that Bradley had made some positions, but I guess he didn't. So yeah, definitely the happiest 18th place for sure.
So what was your strategy coming in tonight? Because you had the higher ground. You elected to qualify. Brad didn't. You were running up front early. Brad wasn't. What were you thinking coming in? Were you just thinking, I've just got to finish this race, or were you just throwing everything at the table?
At the beginning, well, my whole thing was like, well, if I get pole, I get 2 extra points. So I was just gonna go for the pole, and if I didn't get it, I was just gonna go to the back. And then I got the pole, and then they started working early on me. I saw Jeff from Waterback. He was behind me, and he wasn't pushing me. He was lifting. He let the high line go by, and then I was like, okay, I'm gonna have to fall back. Then I saw Richard, and I was like, okay, I can get aggressive with Richard, and he might be able to push me. They pushed me to the front, and I was able to lead. I'm not sure if I led the most laps, so I'm technically just counting points at that time. And then after the pit stops, since I don't have any teammates, I was texting. I think it was Mike Witt that was behind me, telling him when I was gonna pit and what I was taking 2 tires. Then we were able to pit together, and then we came out in the back, and that's when I decided, okay, I'm just gonna chill here, and whatever happens.
I think you're going a
happens.
little
And
bit
maybe in the
robot
last
mode
5
on us
laps,
here,
make a
Abner,
run for it,
but
yeah.
I'll ask you one more question. Hopefully in the next 2 seconds, your internet clears up a little bit. The playoffs is something that we haven't really talked about at all this season, but next season, season 4, we've got 16 drivers going for that playoff championship as well as the regular season championship, and you're going to be one of them. How are you thinking about that for next season?
Sorry, I think I was lagging that whole time. Can you repeat that again?
Yeah, I'll repeat it for you. Next season, we got the PRL playoffs. That's something we haven't talked about much this season. We've been focusing on the regular season championship, but with this win, I believe you have qualified yourself for the playoffs. So how are you feeling about that?
Feeling good. Next season wins are gonna be really important, so we definitely want to get some of those to transfer to the playoff rounds, and yeah, just take it one race at a time like I did this season, and just stay consistent. And I think if I'm able to do that, I can, I think I can always snag a win here and there and take it to the end.
All right, well, congrats on your championship tonight, and I will give you the floor to thank everybody who made it possible.
Yeah, I want to thank Precision Racing League for sponsoring me this season, and all their sponsors, and you guys at RaceSpot, and everybody that watches. There's a lot of the seasons are open, so if anybody wants to sign up, just go to PRL website and just sign up. And I'll see you guys next season.
We will see you next season indeed. Congrats again on your second Truck Series championship.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Abner Acosta, driver number 5, happiest 18th place finisher of all time. But we do have our actual race winner here. Terry, talk to Christian Swenson, the winner on the night.
What's up, man? You get a win, and you did it around a bunch of teammates.
I did. They helped me a lot. So that's how it's supposed to work, I believe. Yeah, it's about time. I've had some decent runs this year and some not so good runs, but I'm glad I finally got one.
Well, I mean, if we just count truck wins, congrats on your first PRL truck win, because like I said, we thought for sure that if anybody was going to win this season after the first couple weeks, we pinpointed you. We thought that the 11 machine was going to victory lane regardless. And it took to the very end to do it, but you still got it. How much of a relief is this going into next season, that, hey, you can win here? You don't need luck. You were fast all race long, and you've been fast all season long.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it feels good to get that win finally and get my first one here. That's great, and I hopefully look forward to more. But yeah, it was it was an up and down adventure this year, and to finish the season off with a win on the last race, that's just awesome.
Well, you obviously run Likumali, I believe is how you pronounce it. I'm not too sure how most go, but you've ran it all season long. You have been a big ambassador for it. Sean Powell, Richard Regan Jr. come out here and win. And how much does it mean to you to get that paint scheme in victory lane while your other teammates have done it multiple times this season? You know, was it like a coerced effort between the three of you to go, look, you both have wins, I don't, let's work together, get me to victory lane too?
Oh no, there was no talk like that. I told these guys if I beat them, I'm gonna beat them straight up. I mean, they clearly have more driving talent than I do. But yeah, I would never let that happen. I mean, I'm kind of the ringleader here, so I wouldn't want anybody else doing that either. So yeah, it feels good to represent Liqui. I mean, they're a huge oil company out of Germany, and to have them on board and to want to break into iRacing and be able to market through iRacing is just a huge opportunity for us. This is our first year with them, and we look forward to the future. And I mean, we've got some great drivers on this team. So, I mean, hats off to them. Those guys are awesome. I'm more here to support those guys, but boy, to get a win and finally lock one in sure feels good.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it does. And you intend to run next season, right?
Well, funny you mentioned that. I was late in signing up, so I didn't get in. Maybe this gets me in. I don't know.
That might be a great question to ask all the PRL league admins. It'd be pretty cool. But Kristen, the floor is yours. Thank your sponsors for your first win in the trucks.
Yeah, I got to thank the team. Obviously, the guys are great. Sean, Tyler, Richard. Phase two, we've been together for a long time, and it shows. And of course, Liqui and Gearhead Coffee also are our secondary sponsor. Those guys have been supporting us for, gosh, probably 5 years now. So yeah, it feels great, and I appreciate what you guys do. You guys do an awesome job. Your broadcasts are top notch, and hopefully I can run another season. We'll see.
Well, you don't have to float my ego that much, but we appreciate you, Kristen. Congratulations on your win
All
here
right.
in that number 11 Liquid Molly Ford.
Yeah, thank you.
Joey, that's your race winner.
That is our race winner indeed, and I don't know. I hope some strings can get pulled. I want to see Christian Swenson back next season. Maybe we can expand the field. I don't know, but that's for above my pay grade. But P2 in the race tonight, Jeff T. Evans, number 51. What more do you need coming to the line there?
The inside line to self-destruct and take each other out, probably. That was pretty much my only hope, I think.
So what was it like working with your teammates there? We saw all the Whataback guys. There was like a 6-car armada with you and Sink and Danny and Brad, and you guys were all working very well together. What more did you need to break down those Phase 2 chassis works guys?
I honestly, we really don't know. It would just, with the way the timing of the pit stops cycled through, they came out right in front of us. I think we took a little more fuel than we probably needed to. Thinking ahead to potentially green, white, checkered, and I knew a couple of the guys towards the back of our line had been pushing a little harder earlier on in the run, so we were trying to make sure we stayed together. And probably, I think that honestly, that's probably what cost us taking the extra gallon and a half, whatever it was.
So I heard from somebody named Jeff Evans that it was another Evans's birthday today. So you want to give him a shout out?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Definitely happy birthday to my dad, Doug. Race didn't go exactly how he drew it up. I think he finished back in 12th or something like that, and he had some issues earlier on, but he was hoping I was going to give him one last birthday gift and push him to the win. And I told him I need the playoff points, so if you're in front of me coming to the line, I'm sending you to the grass.
Well, Terry told us that he would wreck his mother, who is so kind to join us in the chat every night. So all family stuff goes aside when you're trying to win at Daytona. Apparently, absolutely.
We're probably there's a very big rivalry between the two of us, very competitive. So, if I got to do what you got to do to get the win, in my case, get some playoff points. So,
Also, I've never asked you this. What does the T stand for in Jeff T. Evans?
My middle name, but just what iRacing gave me.
What's the middle name? The people want to know.
Tyler.
There we go.
Yeah,
I thought
sorry.
it was going to be Terry.
No.
Oh, we've been twinsies.
I wish. No, that was just when iRacing was like, hey, we can either give you a number or we can give you the middle initial. I was like, I guess I'll take initial. So.
All right, well, I know we will see you next season because I see you signed up. You're in the playoffs, and we will see you in a couple of weeks, and we wish you good luck next season.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. Have a good one.
Jeff Evans, P2 tonight. Unfortunately, probably P0 in Terry's heart because his middle name isn't Terry. But anyway, who's next? Let me check my results here. Thomas Sink, that's next in the order. P4, Terry and Thomas, do your thing.
What up, T Sink?
What's up, guys?
Well, you finished P4 here this afternoon, and did you need a giant wreck to get this win?
I don't know. I mean, Daytona and Talladega have always been my Achilles heel. Worse, I wouldn't say worse than road courses, but man, I was pushing Jeff. I told him I was going to stick with him no matter what, and I thought I had pushed him to first when I got clipped, but I was just like, oh, racing gods, please make them push too hard on the bottom and cause a wreck. And Jeff and I finished 1-2.
Well, you almost got your wish. It almost happened, but the 48 was quick. You know, all night long. You had a bunch of Whataback teammates after that, after the pit stop, and you stayed together on the restart. You really didn't break apart a whole lot there. What do you got planned for next season? Obviously, another season of the PRL's over. We ended it in the most unopportunistic racetrack, like out here in Daytona. But what do you got for next season? You gonna come out here and win a couple races?
I'm gonna try. I mean, I always try, and I've told you guys this before. It's as long as I get a top 10, I'm pretty well happy. Brett and I do a pretty decent job at trying to manage a team and try to get everything pretty equal. It's actually more important to me to watch someone like Jeff or Colton or Mark get up there and win. I'd seem to have a little bit more gratification out of watching others win, especially when they're my teammates. So, yep, the plan is just go out and hit the reps, do what we've been doing all season. Guys like Jeff and Doug going out there and just getting some data. We're putting it all together, passing it along through the team, and just hopefully get that team championship. That's what I'm really kind of looking forward to.
I love that answer. That's actually probably one of the coolest answers I've gotten as a commentator out here. But shout out those sponsors, and just let us know what drives Whataback Racing here.
Yeah, just thank everyone at Whataback, the whole team. They work so hard to make sure everyone has the data going in these races. I love just how we work together. We all conform very well. We're all great friends. Thank you guys for putting on a great broadcast. I love going back and watching it. The whole family's watching tonight. I think my mom's watching, my brother's watching, my girlfriend's watching. Everyone just loves coming out and watching. PRL for putting on this league and making sure everything is well organized so that we have fantastic races.
Well, we appreciate you. We appreciate all the PRL for allowing RaceSpot to do this and for having, at least I'm thankful that I'm on it because this has been an absolute blast. So thank you so much for the kind words, Thomas, and we're going to see you next season.
Sounds good, guys. Take it easy.
Joey Tebben, that right there is P4 Thomas Saint for the Back Row Racing team.
No Sean Powell here, but we do have Sean Powell's teammate who finished 5th. I'm going to drag him in. Richard Regan Jr., 5th place. It was a battle between you and your two teammates. What else did you need to beat the other two?
Just a little bit of help there at the end. I mean, it's basically a given. I mean, we had the top 3 spots locked up the last 25 laps of that race, so it was a given that the Whataback guys were going to split at some point. So if I wanted any shot at the win, I definitely needed some help behind me, but at least the team still got a win.
So it was a part-time season this season. I think I've talked about this with you every single time you've won, but you're back for the full season next season. Of course, you've got a truck championship in the bag. No, you don't. You have cup championships in the bag, but no truck championship. So is next season going to be that first truck championship?
We'll see. I was pretty close to it in season 2, but unfortunately got wrecked side by side for the championship. But I don't know. There's been plenty of times where I should have had a championship, whether it be the Cup Series or the Truck Series, and I do win a lot, but it always seems to be that when it comes down to the championship, the horseshoe falls out of the you know what, and then I just get a bad luck streak. So I just gotta tighten that up a little bit, and hopefully I'm ineligible for the overall championship in the trucks. We're gonna go for it in the Cup Series, but 2023, I'm definitely coming for that championship.
That's a threat for the rest of the field. Richard Regan Jr., he's coming for all of you. But before we let you go, we already talked to your teammate Christian, who won his first race in the Truck Series. He thanked a lot of your sponsors, but it's the end of the season. I cede the microphone to you.
Yeah, first off, congrats to Christian. I mean, he's an old guy, so it's nice to see him finally get a win in the PRL. He's been in PRL for years. I mean, even back like 7 years ago, back when it was the OG days, me and him were running in here. And yeah, huge thank you to Liquid Molly and Gearhead Coffee for coming on board this year. We got some plans in the works for next year. JZ Photography, my spotter, Respog, everyone that tunes in, everyone at PRL, and you guys at RaceSpot.
Thank you. Richard Regan Jr., P5 tonight, and we wish you once again good luck in a full season next season.
Thanks, guys.
Number 456. Jesus Christ, it's been such a long season. I'm forgetting the numbers now, but Terry, what better way to close the season than to talk to a driver who finished 17th, but he did beat Abner Acosta tonight. So maybe Austin Hunter's the real champion.
And he also got tweeted directly by me that Connery caught him putting his sign up, and I snapped a quick little picture of it because I really wanted to, and I wanted to see how quick you would do this. But nice sign. I tell you this all the time. It looks like you've added a couple things to it with the ETC. It looks fantastic. It's a beautiful sign, or maybe I'm just now noticing it. But we caught you. We caught you in the act of putting the sign up.
Hey, you got to show the sponsors. Thanks to my friends at Established Traffic Control for hooking me up with the signs. I got to make sure I rep it every race.
Well, I'm just glad that we got a picture. That's the first time that behind the scenes, we caught somebody putting their stuff up. There's times in broadcasting where the producer catches us turning the camera on, and we might be, without socks on, or we might be like skirmaging in to do something. But we finally caught a driver in something of putting their sign up behind them. But 17th. Not too shabby. You finished ahead of the champion.
It definitely could have gone a lot better. Some lap cars up there, really just not holding a line and ended up causing the big one. I was up in the top 10, up in 8th, and whenever I got taken out there and caused a lot of damage. And it just kind of really went downhill from there. It was kind of scratching and clawing for every spot I could get there at the end.
All right, so I'm going to say a random number, and you confirm or deny of how many wins you're going to get next season. 3.
I would love to confirm, but I'm going to have to deny.
All right, 1.
I can work on that one. That's more realistic there.
That's what I like to hear. All right, Austin. Season-ending race here for the PRL. Go ahead and thank the sponsors that's kept you on track all season long.
Yeah, I want to thank Established Traffic Control, my friends over at Houston Curling Club. You guys are putting on such a wonderful broadcast. It's really a blast to go back and watch it each week. And my teammates over at Waterback, we're really working our way up to the front every single week, and my wife and kids as well for putting up.
Always have to thank the wife and kids, Joey Tebben. Without them, with them we could be in the grave, and without them we could be in the grave too.
Most definitely.
Austin Hunter, we love talking to you all season long. We'll see you next season.
Thank you, guys.
That's the last driver we're going to get to talk to. No Bradley Holly tonight. I'm sure he's disappointed after losing. No Sean Powell, but there is a driver. God damn it. Darn it. I mean, to the other side of me, my directions got messed up. Terry, I'm leaving. You close it. How is that the way we end the season? That's the worst This is the worst way any broadcast has ever ended.
I thought it was. It's been a great season. All 10 races have been phenomenal. The drivers have been so polite. I mean, how many of them said that they enjoyed our work? There's not, I could probably count on one hand how many people's ever said that they've enjoyed my work on anything. There's a broadcaster, and maybe even drone, I don't know. Yeah, there's the PRL. There's some liquid. Oh my gosh, we've had memes made out here. We've made Twitter friends, Joey. We've got new Twitter friends out there. Yep. We welcomed you to RaceSpot for the first time ever, which was awesome. Yeah, that's all I got. Oh my gosh, that was fantastic.
That was just the perfect way to. It's been 10 weeks and I still don't know that the camera flips directions. If I point to the left, that's pointing towards Terry. But anyway, it's been a great season. That goes without saying. We've had a lot of fun in the booth. I know all of our drivers have had a lot of fun, and I'm very glad we got to put this season on. This is one of the best and most coherent championship storylines I think I've ever seen. But at the end of all of it, Abner Acosta, the most deserving driver, he is your champion. I've been Joey Tebbin. He's been Terry Radford. Connery Maddox's been directing. I think Zach Johnson was with us for week 1 as well, so I'll thank him as well. But for everybody in the Precision Racing League, thank you for joining us. And we have crowned yet another champion. If you want more Precision Racing League action, we're going to crown 2 Precision Racing League F3 champions in Pro and Am tomorrow night in the F3 cars at Road Atlanta. And then on Sunday, we'll crown a PRL Cup champion. And then on Monday, we will crown our final champions in the MX-5s and GT4s. But until we see you next time in the Truck Series, it'll be a couple weeks. Thank you for joining us. I've been Joey Tebbin, Terry Radford, Connery Maddox, PRL NASCAR Truck Series, RaceSpot, Finn. So long.